4 games were played in the NBA on Thursday. These are the results. The Magic went down to the Grizzlies. The Celtics thrashed the Mavericks. The Jazz beat the Rockets, and the Nuggets much too strong for the Clippers. Now, Memphis Grizzlies set off on the road to Florida. The mission: beat the Magic and record their 5th win on the bounce. Led by Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., who combined for 63 points and 15 rebounds, the Grizzlies took the contest 123-115.
Both the Memphis Grizzlies and the Orlando Magic playing on back-to-back nights. That means number 1 pick Paolo Banchero's got to go on a little rest against Morant. Good luck on that front. Morant, scoop and score in the lane. What a fantastic move that was. And Jaren Jackson Jr. from the top of the key, knocking down the 3. Then it's Morant doing the same thing, knocking down a 3 of his own from way outside. Responding for the Magic, it's Terrence Ross. He's operating on the wing as well. He gets a 3 to go off the dish as the Magic work it around. He takes 1 dribble, and that's just a deep shot to beat the shot clock buzzer. In the second quarter, Jaren Jackson, another 3 plus the foul. He would make the free throw, and Memphis goes up 26-20. Later in the second, it's Morant. Taken to the air in the lane. Boy, he throws that one down. Watch it again. Memphis goes up 53-37 after that one. Jaren Jackson hitting the offensive glass in the second quarter. Watch him go up and get the tip jam here as he just flies in and stuffs it home. Memphis at 43 points in the second quarter. They're up 65-43. Third quarter now, it's Morant through the lane, scoop lay-in and 1. He'd make the free throw. Then Morant elbow one-hander for 2 plus the foul. He missed the free throw. He had 32 points and 6 assists. Now, we mentioned Paolo Banchero earlier. Here he is knocking down a jumper. He had a terrific game, scored 30 points. Then it's Markelle Fultz finding Franz Wagner for the 3. Then Fultz finds Wagner again for 3 more. Wagner had 22 points on the game, but Memphis still up 118-111 late in the fourth. And they've got Jaren Jackson, and they're not afraid to use him. He had 31 points, 10 rebounds, and he's on the business end of this alley-oop as Memphis goes on to get the win. Your final score, 123-115.
Well, let's hear from the man they call JJJ.
We played a lot of games together. We kind of know what's going on for the most part. It's hard to explain, but we know what's going on. We got to win. Just trying to be patient and play my game, not rush, slow down. The game slows down, and you get better looks for yourself. It just makes it easier. Here, we know the way we start the games really just helps the other quarters. So whenever we've lost games, we know like sometimes that start was the reason why, and now we lock in on that to make sure we got it all together.
That's Jaren Jackson Jr. Our NBA expert Alistair Albert joins us now. Alistair, has Ja found a reliable and consistent sidekick in Triple J?
At the moment, definitely it seems so. Jaren Jackson is playing really good. From the time he's been on this team, he's been a really good, reliable defender. Always really up there with the leaders in blocks and a really decent rebounder as well. But he could also shoot the 3. So he becomes a really good target for Morant when he's collapsing into the zone and could kind of kick out and get someone who could shoot the 3. Was kind of like a stretch 4, stretch 5. He has quite a few other players, not just Jaren Jackson. We have Desmond Bain and Dylan Brooks. Tyus Jones coming off the bench when Morant needs a few spells and a few minutes of breathing to catch his breath. Tyus Jones comes off the bench and does really well. So he has a really good supporting cast around him. But Jaren Jackson Jr. is definitely playing that second role right now with Desmond Bain out. And it's really good to see him healthy again and doing what he is, doing what he's doing.
Yeah, ability is one thing, Alistair, but where Jaren Jackson Jr. is concerned, we know all about Morant. I'm wondering if he has the personality in the crunch part of the season. I'm talking post-season
to push the Grizzlies further or farther than they would otherwise have gone. They are not Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., Jordan and Pippen. But there was a dynamic involved in that where you never questioned Pippen's personality. You knew that he had that in spades. It's just that Jordan was so illuminating as to make everybody wilt in his presence. But if Scottie needed to step up, he could step up. And I'm looking at this dynamic and saying that every NBA team, every team that's going to make a run towards the Larry O'Brien Trophy has to have a superstar scorer, but it needs somebody else with the scoring ability, the defensive ability, but the personality to stand up to the big boys when the going gets tough. Does that young man, Jaren Jackson Jr., strike you as having that big P personality?
He is getting there. I think, what I think comes with a lot of what you're saying is a lot of experience and kind of going through the doldrums and kind of going through adversity and proving yourself and getting those battle scars and everyone kind of knowing that you've proven yourself along the way. And these guys have just only made the playoffs the last 2 years and, they're still trying to find themselves. He doesn't seem to have that outlandish personality maybe or that fearsome, fiery character that I suppose most people might want to see out of them. But which NBA player is nowadays? There's so many types of personalities and character types you'd expect for your superstars nowadays, and some guys don't fit within that now. In that sort of mold from what we expected from the 90s and that sort of stuff. So when you start comparing Michael and Scottie Pippen and looking for players in this day and age to kind of fulfill that sort of role, you're not really going to get that sort of way. But he does have the skill set, and I think with the reps and him getting healthy and all of that, I think he could kind of prove to be that alongside Ja Morant. But of course, Ja is taking such a major spotlight in this team, with all his acrobatics and highlights plays and his bravado and everything. And I think that's what you're trying to see. Can he balance out some of Ja Morant's bravado and his I'm going up the chimney. We want all the smoke sort of mentality. And I think Triple J just needs to play his role, do his thing, as he's doing right now. Be that guy who the cornerstone. Tim Duncan was never a fiery guy, but he did what he had to do. And if Triple J could kind of fulfill that role and be consistent, I think that's all he needs to do. Personality. Doesn't really matter.
You mentioned Tim. Tim had personality in spades along with his outstanding ability both sides of the ball. And by personality, you don't have to be brash, but I'm thinking of. Well, Scottie was a superstar by then, but I'm thinking of dunking on Patrick Ewing and walking over him. The audacity to do just that, to let him know that, hey, I'm not your equal, I'm your superior. That kind of attitude, you're going to need that. You know it very well. You're going to need that in the NBA.
It will come. And I think, like I say, with those reps and getting into the playoffs and kind of building rivalries, you see them trying to build some sort of budding rivalry with the Warriors, and you kind of see personalities coming out. When Jaren Jackson Jr. blocks some guys on at the rim, you could kind of see him doing the scowling and doing the mean mugging and walking around, puffing his chest and all that sort of stuff. So, there are moments where you kind of see that, but I think he just needs more national TV games for people to see that. And all that sort of thing.
All right, I'm looking at his numbers from the last 5 games. We have a graphic here. I'm looking at the numbers from the last 5 games. And I wanted to tell me, because someone who knows their basketball will say, well, 32 minutes, 24, 29, 30, 29 in his last 5 games. The points return, the productivity has been very good, very, very good, especially on the points front. They'll say that, why is he not playing more minutes per night? Is it because of the phase of the season we are in? Is it because there's a fragility about him, so the coach is keeping him relatively fresh? What would account for the number of minutes that we're seeing for one of the leaders of this Grizzlies team at this stage?
Definitely, as you called it out right there, I think the coach is making some very judicious choices in terms of minutes. This is a long season. Everyone talks about the 82 games being a marathon and not a sprint. And you need to kind of just pace your guys and kind of keep them fresh. And, he came into the season really late. I think he started playing games early December, and he wasn't really there. So, they're still doing a little bit of injury and load management with him to kind of keep him fresh for that long haul where they will definitely need him. And, of course, Desmond Bane has kind of been in and out of the lineup. He's been out for the last couple of games, I think, and he has to now step up in to kind of put in some of that production that Desmond Bane is not there to fulfill. Dylan Brooks has been a bit inconsistent, so Jaren Jackson obviously needs to step up. But the minutes are just being managed at the moment, and as you see, I think we get into March, April, we might see maybe a bit of a ramp up, or maybe even taking it down a bit to preserve him for May and April and May. We don't know if they're going to get into June, but we'll see.
Last thing before we go, Alistair, when you look at this Grizzlies squad, what position are they most in need of strengthening in?
Wow, I think it's probably the wing. I need a small forward, the guys who could kind of pick up behind guys like Desmond Bain and Dylan Brooks and all of that. Shooting guard, small forward. Ja Morant, of course, is doing his thing at point guard. I really like what Tyus Jones is doing off the bench, coming in as a backup point guard. He's been very stable and composed when he sees in the game. But I think those extra wing players who could come in and have that explosive dynamic and kind of keep the game going, for them is really important. They lost DeAnthony Melton, who went to the 76ers, which I think was a little bit of a blow for them. So guys with that sort of mold, wing perimeter players who can score and create, I think is their most position of need.
Excellent stuff as usual, my friend. All the best to you. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk again next week.
And to you guys. See you next week.
Good. That's our NBA expert, Alistair Albert, there speaking with us. Before we leave, viewers in Trinidad and Tobago, here's your chance to play our Take Your Shot promotion and win a trip for two to attend the 2023 All-Star Weekend in Utah. Watch the NBA live on Sportsmax for a chance to scan the QR code for more information on how to participate. The promotion, which began on November 28 last year, ends January 20 this year.